What's up, everyone? This is B the Installer and my lovely wife, Jen.
Hey.
We're here with the gigantic Samsung frame from 2022. Super stoked. First time I've ever had this large of a Samsung frame in the house to review. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff. We're gonna unbox it now, gonna install it on the wall right there, and we're gonna do a review on it. So please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, set the notifications to all so you're notified when I upload one of these cool videos where we unbox one of these TVs. And I want to know from you guys, are you interested in the Samsung frame for your home? Is it a TV you consider? If not, let me know other TVs that you might consider, like the G2 or the A90J or any other QLED from Samsung. Let me know in the comments and let's get into unboxing this TV. All right, Jen, you want to do the honors of popping this open?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. I want to let everyone know this TV was not easy to get.
Or open.
Yeah, we got this after, I think it was about 7 hours of looking for a Samsung frame. We went to Costco, then we went to Best Buy. We drove up to a Best Buy an hour away, and when we got there, they had one TV, and it had a big hole in it from a forklift that had literally just destroyed the TV. So once we found that out, we had to drive all the way up another hour to Ontario, California, to where the Best Buy location is, where the warehouse, get this TV and then drive 2.5 hours home to do this today. So we do this all for you guys. So make sure to smash the like button. Careful with the knives. Go ahead, open it up. Let's see what's in the top of the box. So with a Samsung frame, you get the One Connect box. We'll open this up in 1 second. Then we got the feet. The Samsung frame, unlike the LG G2 Gallery series, actually comes with feet. And I think that this TV is far less likely to be mounted on these feet versus the wall, where the G2, I could see that one being put on feet, but they don't come with them. You know, we're gonna use these for the unboxing, and then we're gonna put it up on the wall. So we'll put these aside as well for a second. And then it has, you know, how to take the box apart, which is always important, even though I typically don't really follow it. And the packet of goodies for the Samsung TVs. It's got the remote, which is in white. Ooh, it's a white remote.
Oh, fancy.
Is your one upstairs white?
Mine's black.
Wow. So that's a cool looking white remote. I'll take it out in a second. Cord, one wire, and a couple little like channels. You can make sure you don't bend the cord when you're wrapping it around the TV. So we'll get into all this in a second. We gotta get the TV out first though. So for the 85-inch, if we had that, you could take the box apart, but for the 75-inch and smaller, we just need to take the styrofoam off and then lift the box up over the top. That's in there. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to take it that way?
Sure.
Thank you. Let's lift this up and let's make sure the TV doesn't tip forward. Got to make sure that we don't drop it. Let's go up nice and smooth. Lead. Once you grab it at the bottom so you can get a better grip. Go forward. You want to go forward?
Forward.
All right. TV secured, as long as we don't kick it over.
So far.
Let's go with it.
Hold on, I'll meet you downstairs. How about the escalator?
All right, so here we go. Let's get the styrofoam off the side. And you know, this piece in the middle is always nice. It's supposed to prevent, you know, destruction of the TV. Although I think on that other TV that was destroyed, it was to the left of this. Not that it would have mattered. You hit it with a forklift, you're gonna break the TV. I mean, the TV was literally shattered. I wish we had pictures. We didn't take pictures. Oh, darn it. And here we have the no gap wall mount from the frame. I'll show you this now because we're not gonna really get to it today. But now they've gone to having a 2-piece wall mount, and it's kind of weird. I mean, it works fine, and it probably works better because it's lighter and thinner to have a bracket for each side. You know, a bracket goes on each side of the TV. You just have to space them differently, and you know, these clips go on to hold it there. So it's still, you know, somewhat easy to do, but it's definitely more difficult than it used to be. And then they give you these screws that unfortunately don't work that great either. So when I do the installation video, check that out because, you know, I think we've nailed down how to install one of these pretty well. So, but I will put this aside because it's not going to be useful today because I want to show you how cool the TV is, how good it looks, and we can do that on a stand. Okay, so these pictures show us that we need to flatten out the box, take one of the sides off, and then lift it up and put a foot on, then lift it the other way and take the other piece of styrofoam out and put that foot on, And then once you do that, it should be able to just stand here. So we're just going to do that. Glad that the instructions are on there. So let's go ahead and take this off here, Jen, if you want to pick up those pieces like on the other side. And there's one on the end too, on each end. There, and then we can open this up. There we go. And pop this off there. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this side off first. Okay, Muscles here is going to help me lift the TV up. Let's go ahead, lift it up, slide that out. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Piece of cake. Lift it up and I'll pull that off. Go ahead and I'll lift it up now from here. There you go, just push it straight up. Beautiful. I like it. I got the TV. Okay, so let's lift it up out of this plastic piece now. I got it. I got it. That's some ingenuity, Jen.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so now we just need to move all this stuff and stand it up on the entertainment center. Let's move that behind and we'll throw it up there. Let's take the plastic off.
It's the big reveal.
There we go. Ooh, it definitely looks more matte-like than before.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and stand it up. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Let go, feet. Come on, wait a little. It's fine.
Look good?
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah, I've always liked these. That's what I have hanging in my office, but a smaller one.
You can see though that is a pretty, it's like a really nice matte finish where like a piece of art wouldn't have reflections like some of the TVs do. So it's kind of cool how it fits in. So no fun for you, Jen. No plastic coating on the screen. All there is just that.
Just that.
Very unsatisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Wah, wah. Anyways, let's get the One Connect box. We'll plug the One Connect box in, fire it up, and then we'll show everybody how cool this TV is. Let's do that. So we have some instructions. Take the accessories out, one wire power cord. Power cord plugs in, one wire to the TV. I typically connect the one wire first and then I power it up, but the instructions are there. Let's pop this thing out. It's pretty cool. I am a big fan of the One Connect box because you don't have to run wires up the wall. And on a TV that's really thin, that is crucial. Pull this out. A little pad on the back. I don't remember that pad being there, but that's, yeah. So this is basically exactly the same as it's been for a couple of years. It has a game port on number 4 there, which kind of indicates that not all 4 of these HDMI are 2.1. I'll have to double check on that. Number 3 is the eARC, so you can connect your soundbar there, your game console there, and you still can connect game consoles and everything to this 1 and 2, HDMI 1 and 2. You have Ethernet if you need to plug that in. A lot of times people will have like a little hub inside their entertainment center where this will sit, so that's nice. You can hardline it. Optical, antenna, USB, you can plug a little hard drive into it, and an X-Link for some communication. So, the brains of the TV in a convenient box where it can sit here, can sit inside the cabinet. It doesn't have to be in line of sight, so you can stick it in a cabinet and close it up because the remote does everything Bluetooth to the TV. So it's quite a convenient thing that Samsung does. It's kind of big and heavy. I'm not sure why it's still so large when the 8K boxes are a little bit lighter and a little sleeker looking. This is still kind of sizable. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug this sucker in. So we'll pull out the one wire. And I think it's a 5-meter cable, which is nice and long. You don't need much more than 5 meters. They do sell a longer one and they sell in wall rated ones because technically this is not supposed to go in the wall because it has power that goes through this. It's technically a high voltage cord, so you should run it through some sort of conduit or just leave it external. It doesn't look quite as stylish if it's external, but we have 2 ends to this cord, which I'm definitely gonna get all tangled up here and showing you. But the skinnier end, which is the one that I would run down a conduit because it's smaller, you don't have to have a giant conduit to put this one in. This one goes to the One Connect box. The larger one goes to the TV. So let's connect this to the One Connect box first. Goes upward, like the U faces up. Connecting it to the TV is always a little trickier. You got to make sure again that the little pieces are angling out. These kind of angle out down here, so it's kind of a U-shaped to a degree. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. So you just squeeze the clips, and you kind of have to guide it up in there. Perfect. But that's basically it. I mean, we want to get a little cord management on the back here, but we have to manipulate these TVs some more. So while it's not super important, I could just take this little zip tie type thing. It's like a Velcro tie, tie it around. It looks somewhat neat. There you go. Yeah, not perfect. And then we have the power cord, and it just plugs in again to the One Connect box right there. And all we have to do is plug this in. Let's do it. Okay, since there wasn't anything to peel off the screen, we found something for Jen to peel the plastic off of before she heads out. So why don't you do the honors?
Peekaboo.
Creepy.
Ooh, around the side.
Awesome. All right.
Bye.
All right, so here we have the white solar cell remote. It's so cool looking. I think they should do the white for all the TVs. Got the solar, got the USB-C. On the front, power button, settings, microphone that you can connect with all the different voice assistants, and you can do the multi-view or the picture-in-picture. Cool. Up, down, left, right, and OK is in the center. Then we have back, home button, play, pause, volume up and down, channel up and down. These buttons are nice because when you click them, you can really feel that you're actually doing something there instead of like wondering if you're on the right button. These are you can really tell they're there, and so it's a very cool remote like that. And then you have, the different app buttons. I like that they have these, except for when I accidentally hit it when I'm watching like YouTube TV and I accidentally hit the Netflix button. It's kind of annoying because then I got to go back out, go to the home, find YouTube TV and all that. So anyways, cool remote. I think it's one of the best remotes there is on the market. And with the solar cell, just made it even better. So let's go ahead and fire this sucker up. Okay, so now that we have it on the home screen, I want to do a couple quick checks. This is the OS. I'm going to show you this in 1 second. But first, we need to go down to the menu here and go to the settings and just make sure that some of this stuff is off so that you get max power. So if we go down to the settings, click on that, and we go into the general and privacy, you can click over and go down to the power and energy saving and turn that stuff off. The brightness optimization is set down to 1. You turn that off, it gives you more brightness. It didn't really crank it up on this one. When we did the QD OLED and the QN90B, it popped it up. But auto power saving, screensaver, all this stuff we just want to turn off. Let's get back out of this. Now we know that we're dealing with the full power of the TV. Go up into the standard mode. Let's just move it straight to filmmaker mode now. It makes it a little darker, but we can go into this. I don't think that this brightness is all the way up as it isn't. Click on that and put it up to 50. Color tone is warm too. Contrast enhance. I guarantee that's going to help a TV like this. So you crank up the contrast enhance, at least to low. It's going to give it a little bit more life. Let's get out of this because that's really what I want to see is we're going to go to the home section here. So we're back at the Tizen home screen here, which it's got all the apps you would ever need. Down below on what's on now, different things that you've been watching previously. It may be a source if you have like the PS5 connected. Free movies, Revenant, that's a good one. Good movie. But the real draw is really the art mode. So let's kick into that. I had to log in. I've logged in now, and so you can see there's some cool art here. One thing that I noticed when we pop some of this on is that the anti-reflective properties are gone from this screen. It's basically just a matte screen now. So it looks really cool when you have a little light in the room, or this is a fairly lit room. You can see a little vignetting around the corners, which we'll have to do a uniformity test on this TV just to see if that's going to be something that annoys me. But let's pop out of this. We do have a lot of different art. I have the full art mode. I pay like $5 a month to get this. So there is some free artwork. I think there's like 20 pieces you get for free. But I do really like the black frame if you have that matte around the edges. And I'm not sure if that's just defaulting to this now or if that's because our other TV is set up like this and it just copied settings. There are some settings at the bottom. Now, there isn't that many settings compared to how it used to be. There's just, turn art mode off after a certain amount of time. The motion detection, obviously you want, when you come into the room, it'll go from a black screen to back to the art mode. Once it can tell you're in the room and has motion. And then there is a night mode. This is pretty much it. There is no brightness setting on the art mode though. I don't know where that is, if it's just correlating now with the brightness of the TV in general and it tries to match that. But when I turned on art mode right away, it was really dark and it started flickering, which is kind of an issue for recording the videos, but not so much for you guys watching the art. And let's get into some content. I'm gonna give it a little time and get used to this a little bit. And I'll come back in the morning, tell you what I think for my initial impressions, and we'll compare it to the A90J and show the anti-reflection and also the uniformity test before wrapping up. Okay, so I've let it sit overnight here. I'm back and I was watching some sports center, things like this, some HDR movies and gaming. I wanted to make a quick point about SDR or your cable content. When I'm watching Sports Center or sports, this TV looks very similar to a lot of, the QLEDs of Samsung of the past. It's not, as impressive as the QN90B, of course, with how bright it can get, or the new OLED, the S95B, with regards to how it handles this SDR content. But more or less, it looks very similar to a lot of other QLEDs. Typical cable, looks like it's upscaled fine. It's not super bright, but bright enough. And that's kind of the story of the Samsung frame in general as a TV. It's very watchable for SDR content, and I don't think there's really anything to complain about. The contrast ratio is obviously not as good as something that has the dimming zones. Now, this is just a direct lit TV where the lights are behind it, but you wouldn't want that in a Samsung frame because when art comes up, you'd have like blooming and all kinds of issues with how the art would look and also how some of this content would look. But overall, watching this lower resolution content, it upscales fine, the motion looks fine. It's very similar to Samsung's of the past, and I really have no complaints. So let's get into some HDR footage. So when watching HDR content, like movies, I typically have gone to something like Encanto lately. And you can see at times in content like this that it does have some great bright highlights. It is enjoyable to watch some of these scenes. But unfortunately on the Samsung frame and other TVs that aren't high-end QLEDs, it can get a little difficult to see some of the stuff in the dark here, as you can see now. And it just becomes kind of hard to see the details in some instances, like you can't even see the hair on the boy on the left. And I'll compare this to the A90J in a second, just so you can kind of get a taste of what you could get with a higher end TV if you're not concerned about art mode and you're thinking that the TV side of it is more important and you want to watch, brilliant HDR movies. Again, most people that get the frame are probably thinking great art and pretty good TV, specifically cable and maybe some gaming, but HDR movies is where this frame is gonna struggle compared to some of the other high-end TVs, especially in the price range because they're not cheap TVs. So on to the good stuff, gaming footage. This 2022 Samsung frame is making me think there's a lot of similarities with the 2021 with regards to gaming. It only has one HDMI 2.1, so you can only game at 4K at 120 on HDMI 4 versus the new QLEDs, they have 4 HDMI 2.1s. In addition, the game bar looks a little different than the QN90B. I think it is the same as last year's. I don't think there's a huge difference. I mean, some of the features that aren't on this probably aren't gonna be missed again because you're buying this for some fun and you're buying it for the art. Overall, I think it looks good. Gaming seems to be a little brighter and more fun than the HDR movies, but again, it depends on if you're in a dark game or a bright game. If you're watching a brighter game or SDR gaming, I think it's gonna be great. The HDR gaming, definitely darker scenes, maybe a little bit tough, again, like the movies. Let's go ahead and compare it to the A90J I have on the wall here because I want to show you a couple of tests that may help you differentiate if you need something like the Samsung frame with its matte finish versus a glassier finish of an OLED. And I want to show the dirty screen effect, which I don't think is going to be great on this TV. But let's look at these, discuss, and then we'll finish up. Okay, so on the right, I have my 83-inch Sony A90J, and on the left is a 75-inch Samsung frame that looks not too shabby, to be honest, when comparing it. You can see little differences if you have a trained eye, if you're an AV enthusiast. Obviously, the OLED on the right has much better contrast than the Samsung frame on the left. But if you're at home and you're just trying to watch typical cable, again, sports, or even these HDR movies, maybe not the dark scenes, but in these medium to bright scenes, you'd probably have a hard time justifying the 2x cost of the Sony A90J when you want to get the art mode, you want to get a decent TV, you want to have some fun gaming footage. So when I'm thinking about the Samsung frame as a TV, it's solid, it's not perfect, but with the ability to add art mode and hang it on the wall and make it look nice for the entire family to enjoy, I think it looks pretty good. Let me show you two things here, one that's great and one that's not so great. So one thing that's pretty cool is if you look in the top right of the Samsung frame, the top left of the A90J is you can see the anti-reflective properties of the two TVs. Now I will tell you that the A90J is gonna hold up better if you have a lot of direct light, even though it may look like it doesn't here. But the Samsung frame on the left actually has a very matte-like finish to it. So it doesn't look like, this is a pretty bright light that I have shining on it, but the upper right corner, resists that reflection because it's a very matte-like finish. Now again, if it's a ton of light, it's not gonna look awesome or it'll be difficult to see what's on the TV, but when you're talking about showing art having that matte finish is pretty cool. Something that's not so awesome is the dirty screen effect on this Samsung frame. Now, it doesn't look quite as bad as it does on the camera, but there is visible cloudiness, or what they say, dirty screen, on the Samsung frame compared to the OLED, which isn't perfect either. But on the frame, you can see there's a couple lines down the middle. The left side looks different color than the middle and the right. And then you have some vignetting in the corners. So, it could just be this specific Samsung frame. It's not always the same on every, TV. But it's pretty bad, and that's unfortunate, because if you're gonna see bright art or bright sports, this is something that you're gonna notice when the TV pans left and right on a bright scene. Definitely noticeable for me as a TV reviewer. Not great. I'd give Samsung a pretty poor grade on that aspect of this TV. But besides that, or if you don't even look for this, maybe you don't notice it, besides that, a lot of positives for this TV. All right, so final thoughts on the Samsung frame. I like the Samsung frame, I always have. I think a lot of people will like it because of its combined features of having the best art mode, no question, looks the best, and it's a good TV. So definitely looks better this year with regards to the matte finish. I think the dirty screen effect, or DSE, is definitely an issue on this one, and it may need to be returned because of that. I couldn't accept this and look at this every single day with that issue. Also, the remote for some reason is not keeping it charged, or at least it's not continuing to stay connected. So I may have to figure out what's going on with that. I didn't want to make a big deal of that because that kind of thing can happen. So a little upset that that happened, but really the dirty screen effect is the only downside to this TV. Pretty great TV overall, definitely good for art and for cable. And if you want spectacular HDR movies, you may want to look to another TV. But my editor likes gaming on the Samsung frame much better than the Sony. Said it's much more responsive and quick. It has a much lower input lag, so it's definitely the screen that he's watching as he's playing this stuff. So I hope you like this video. I will do an installation, and I will do a full review on this TV. But smash the like button for me if you could. I really appreciate that. Make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you get all the videos. And go ahead and watch another video, maybe Be the Consumer. Check out some of the Tesla videos.